Many of you are now switching from our B2B portal to our new web UI. In this old portal, the users were managed in the administration area, as we can see here. And to control the visibility of data and message tracking, these groups were used. Our new world has changed in this respect. Therefore, I would now like to tell you something about our User Management Service app, or simply UMS. First, I'll show you how to create new users, for example, a new user for message tracking. Oh, what a great thing! I mean, don't you think it's great that you can now manage users by yourself? I will also show you how you can make search profiles available to your users in message tracking using our UMS. If you are missing the menu item for a search profile, it should be easy to make it available to the user account. In addition, I would like to show you how the visibility of message tracking data can be controlled today. This no longer works with groups, but with so-called empty group codes, which are also configured in the UMS. To explain all this, I need to go into some more detail, because you should understand how the UMS works. You have or will have at least one so-called delegated admin in your organization, and this admin is able to see and use the UMS app. I'm already logged in here. First, we notice that we have this new app in our BIS web UI. Exactly what we are looking for. Let's open it with a click on the mouse and see what's there. Before I forget, if you would like to have further information in addition to the content of this video, have a look at the SEEBURGER's online help. You can access it either via help.cloud.seeburger.com or by clicking the question mark icon in the app. Alright, let's get started. I've painted a picture. Let's have a look at it. Here we see the UMS. As an example, let's look at an app. Let's take our message tracking. Each app comes with rights that should enable the user to do 13 things at the end. In the case of message tracking, for example, there are the rights to export or download data, but also to display the search profile. As each app comes with a whole range of different rights, they are grouped into roles according to their function. In our example, there is the message tracking user role and another one for search profile. This is still very granular. That's why we group roles together to give them a more meaningful context. In our example here, it's the message tracking user group that bundles the message tracking user and access search profile roles. We are still missing the user who is allowed to use this group role right construct of the app. For this, we need a user account, which we also manage in the UMS. Let's take our Libby Barnes. By linking the account to the group, Libby will be enabled to use message tracking to the intended scope. Let's take a quick look at the online help. Here it is documented which standard groups are available to you. Back to our initial questions. So what do we need to do to create a new message tracking user? First, let's open the UMS app again. We see the menu item accounts on the left. Here we can choose whether we want to create a user account with or without a template. We are not using a reference user now. I have to enter the user details in this detail window. I select type dialog because the system user cannot log in. I enter a valid email address, the first and last name, and the username. I also use the email address here because the value must be unique throughout the whole system. If this select box is set to send invitation, the user will now receive an email containing the URL to the new BIS web UI and an activation code, so he can log into the suite. But there was one more thing, do you remember? If the user now logs in, he will not see any app because he does not yet have any rights. We are still missing the reference to the group so that the user can see and do something when he logs in. We click on the Groups tab and the Assign button. Now we select the message tracking user group and voila! Our new message tracking user is set up completely and invited. Let's log in briefly with this account to see if this is correct. Fantastic! Now we can move on to the second question. How do we provide message tracking users with a search profile? To do this, we log in as Libby Barnes and go to the profile designer of the message tracking app. Here we import a new search profile. It is important that we remember the technical name Advanced Search. This technical name is part of the role name that we now need to assign to our group. To do this, we go back to the UMS app, open the message tracking user group and select the Role tab. There we click the Assign button and search for the technical name. All search profiles start with access in the name, followed by the technical name of the profile. We select it and click Apply. Our new message tracking user Sky Wilson should now be able to see and use the search profile because he is member of the message tracking user group. So see, it works. Back to our last question, how to control the visibility of data within the message tracking. Because if this configuration does not exist, the user is only provided with a missing permissions message. To set this up, we again have to look a little deeper into the UMS app. In general, we are talking about organizational user management. Users are managed within an organization or organizational unit, which simplifies the management of specific permissions, roles, and access to resources based on organizational structures. In the UMS app, your company is represented by an organization and all your users being associated in it. In order to control the visibility of message tracking data, it is necessary to go to the Codes tab of your organization. Data access is granted through the message tracking group code configured here. Message tracking uses this configured message tracking group code in the UMS to know which data the user is supposed to see, so it equals the client ID in the database. And the code is used as a query condition which cannot be influenced by the users. Now let's take another look at Sky Wilson's message tracking after we have added the message tracking group code. The missing permissions message has disappeared. He can now see all the data again. Fantastic! Now we've answered all the 3 questions. Do we have further ones? Feel free to take a look in the online help. I hope you enjoyed the video.